stared at your computer and looking at a blank price box on maybe your sales page and just immediately felt your stomach tighten? You get nervous. You type in a number, you delete it. Maybe you type in another number and you delete that one too. And suddenly pricing your offer is starting to feel harder than creating the entire program. It's starting to take on a life of its own. This decision on how to price your program ends up stalling the entire process. And if that sounds familiar, I do want you to know you're not alone. And today I'm going to try to take all of that stress off of your shoulders. Before we jump in, if you're a practitioner who wants to scale beyond one-on-one and create programs that transforms lives, go ahead and hit the like and the hype buttons for this video. It truly helps the channel reach more practitioners, and it also tells YouTube to keep showing you content that supports your growth. So I want to thank you in advance for your support. I'm Lesli Bitel, and I help practitioners turn their expertise into scalable programs that increase revenue, expand impact, and give you your precious time back. All right, back to pricing. Pricing, real, aligned, and confident pricing is really one of the important components of the work that we do. So let me start, as I often do, with a little story. A practitioner that I worked with last year, she had built really an incredible 8-week program. And I have to say, her framework was solid. I thought her content was brilliant. And I also know that her clients were receiving really great results. So she ended up showing me everything that she had created. And then she said, "So I'm thinking 197." And she kind of said it in that quiet, apologetic kind of voice that we all recognize. So I just simply asked her, "Okay, why 197?" And she said, "I don't know. It just feels like that's what people will pay." But here's the twist. She really didn't mean people. She meant she would pay that. And that's when it hit her and me, and it hits many practitioners this way. We tend to price our offers based on our own money stories, not based on the value of the transformation. So what did we do? We raised her program to $997. Pretty much the same program, very similar content with a couple additional features. We added one additional session that was completely dedicated to Q&A and laser coaching, but otherwise the content was really pretty much exactly the same. We did work on improving the messaging. We definitely improved the positioning. I have to say this was hugely important. And we greatly improved the communication around the core transformation in all of our marketing. So that was very helpful. We also added a downloadable free lead magnet, in this case, a PDF tip sheet, and a live masterclass as a lead into the paid program. And this gave her audience a taste of what was to come. Additionally, we added early bird pricing as an incentive. We added a fast action bonus and an attractive payment plan option. And I think all of this created more of a sense of urgency and made the purchase decision easier for folks who wanted to spread out those payments. But here's what happened. Not only did people pay $997, she had a higher enrollment rate because the higher price meant more perceived value, more credible, and more transformation. So I want to say pricing isn't logical, it's emotional, it's psychological, and I will say it's very, very strategic. So today what I want to do is walk you through the 4 major factors that I think will help you to finally feel confident in setting your price for your scalable offer, whether that's a group, a course, a membership, or anything in between. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. The first factor I want to talk about: price the transformation, not the time it takes. So most practitioners come from a clinical background where pricing is very closely tied to the hour, the 90-minute session, the 30 or 60-minute follow-up. But when you create scalable programs, you're no longer selling time. It is a different ball game. You are truly selling a transformation. So I want you to ask yourself, what problem does this offer solve? How big is that problem for your client or patient? And what changes for the person when the problem goes away? How long have they been struggling with this problem? What have they already spent trying to fix it? And what is possible after they complete your program? In other words, what can they do, be, or have as a result of achieving said transformation? So just remember, you're not selling videos, you're not selling modules, you're really not selling PDFs or handouts. What you're selling is the change that happens because of those modules, PDFs, and of course your guidance. And I want you to know clients will pay significantly more for the solution to a painful problem than they will for just general education. Factor number two, your format determines the value. So, not all programs have the same perceived value. We know that. But let's break it down a little bit more. A self paced course carries much different expectations as compared to a hybrid, which carries different expectations than group coaching experience, which carries different expectations as compared to like a high touch membership type of program. People pay more when they feel supported, guided, and connected. And I will say they also pay more for personalization and more access to you as their guide. So I want you to ask yourself, how much access do clients get in this program? Is there community? Do they get feedback or coaching? Are you offering a transformation or are you selling information? I will say information is priced lower, transformation priced higher. And you get to choose where your offer sits on that spectrum. Factor number three is positioning must come before pricing. This is really critical. So, one of the biggest mistakes practitioners make is listing the price before they've actually built out the value. So, if you simply tell someone the price without going into detail and explaining the transformation, clarifying the framework of the program, and maybe outlining the phases, sharing the support, maybe sharing success stories, honestly, chances are they're not going to understand the value and the price will automatically feel too high. So, your job is to create clarity before you reveal the price because people don't buy because honestly, they don't buy because you give them a discount. They buy because they have a maybe a new understanding of what's possible for them. So this is really important. Ask yourself, have I clearly communicated the outcome before sharing the price? And if the answer is no, you don't have a pricing problem, you have a positioning problem, and that's very fixable. Factor number four, use contrast to anchor the value. And this is another really, really powerful pricing tool that you have at your disposal. So here's the deal humans understand value through contrast. So if your one to one services are 2000, your 497 group program is going to feel like a pretty easy yes. That makes sense. Conversely, if your one on one is 500, your $1,000 group program, that's going to feel confusing. And that's why your product ecosystem, your entire profit pyramid really matters. When you price one offer, you're really creating context for every offer above and below it. So I want you to ask yourself, does the price of this offer make sense within my overall offer ladder? When the offer ladder makes sense, clients tend to convert more easily. Now, let's talk about another important piece, and that is mindset, because pricing isn't 100% strategy. It's identity, it's confidence, and it's belief in what you're doing. If you are undercharging, you're not just undervaluing the program, you're also undervaluing the years of experience, education, certifications, clinical work, and personal growth, all of that it took to create that program. Every certification earned, every book you read, every client you helped, every mistake you corrected, I don't know, every late night you put into building your craft, all of it lives inside of your program. So pricing isn't about the hours it took to create the program, it's about the lifetime of mastery behind the program. And your pricing should honestly reflect that. So, what should you charge? All right. I want you to know there's really no one size fits all number, but here's what I can tell you unequivocally. If your price feels, let's just say, a little bit of a stretch, somewhat uncomfortable, but also exciting, it's probably aligned. If, on the other hand, your price feels safe and familiar, it's probably too low. If your price feels scary because you believe your clients cannot afford it, that means you're probably projecting your own money stories onto your clients, and you don't want to do that. So, set a price that is more reflective of the value of the transformation, your confidence, your energy, the sustainability of the container, and your goals as a practitioner and as a CEO. And that's aligned pricing. So, what is your next step? Well, here's what I would suggest you do next. I recommend that you write down the transformation your program delivers and then ask yourself, what price feels like a fair exchange for the transformations that my patient and clients receive? Not cheap, not affordable, not apologetic, fair. Because pricing, it is an energetic boundary. It protects your time, it protects your work, it attracts clients who are truly ready to transform. And if you would like help pricing your offer and building your entire scalable program from the ground up with support, structure, and confidence, come and join me inside the Income Accelerator Mastermind. It's where we build out your framework, we build out your pricing, we discuss your content, your funnel, your launch plan, the whole bit. You can learn more and grab your spot by visiting incomeacceleratormastermind.com. And I would be honored to support your efforts inside of this wonderful program. All right, so if you found this video helpful, I hope that you will click that like button and subscribe so you do not miss the next part in the scaling series. And thank you again for your support. I genuinely appreciate it. And I also truly hope that this video gave you some food for thought around pricing your programs effectively. Thanks for being here, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.